nau mai haramai, nau mai haramai. Tēnei tūana kei mui a koutou whakatauini a koutou. Kei te taha tika o tō tātou awa tūpuna. Mōna kōrero, waikato he piko, he taniwha, waikato taniwharau.
I'm Rod Oram and I'm a business journalist, and I was trying to bring the big issues in the world, whether it's around economic, environmental, social, right to bear on local government, but particularly around the concept of reinventing democracy, which becomes then much more participatory and effective than we have now.
Today, the main things I was emphasising, the importance of local government in New Zealand. It's far more than just a deliverer of local infrastructure. It's really internationally now seen as increasingly the pivotal part of governance. A very important role in ensuring that what they do as well as possible to make their own cost impact on others the minimum it can possibly be. You are the community's leaders, you are the people who help them determine their preferred futures, and people in turn want much closer engagement with local government about it these days too.
I think Auckland poses a serious threat to the rest of New Zealand. Size, wealth, power, grunt. You're, I think, a superb region, but a region just simply under threat, I would think, by the creeping Auckland city. I think now is the time to start looking seriously at where you're going to be in the next 20, 30 years.
Main message really is that while the Waikato region is going to grow by about 100,000 over the next 20 years, all of that growth will be at the older ages. Ageing-driven growth is fundamentally different to youth-driven growth. Most of the growth for the region will be in just 3 areas, Hamilton City, Waipa and Waikato District. The rest of the territorial authorities will actually decline in size and they'll become quite aged with relatively few young people, and that will cause all sorts of problems in the future for getting employees.
Look, I think the Waikato is in a unique position to really think about how it can grow and develop for the future. And from an infrastructure perspective, there is a clear opportunity for greater unity of purpose about what you're wanting to achieve. What is really needed here is a strong partnership between the government, the private sector and local government across the Waikato to identify how best the region can grow and develop and what supporting infrastructure is necessary for that.
What is the optimum mix of skills and capabilities and experience that they need at the board table to govern the best they can for an organisation? The same can be applied at the local government level, but I think it should be recognised that there are some good alternative commercial models that can be applied at a local government level.
I thought it was hugely beneficial for me to come down and see Waikato's point of view on rethinking local government, given the fact that Auckland has rethought the whole local government issue, and I was wondering if amalgamation was part of Waikato's view of the world.
It's been a fascinating conference to come to. It gives me a much better idea very quickly of how important it is to retrain older people, but also to ensure that the younger people coming through are well trained and available with the skills to do the jobs that we need to grow the economy for the future.
It's been really good today. Some of the information that's come forward from the presenters, particularly the demographics from Natalie Jackson, have been great. I think it's helped put some of the conversations into context and given us more to think about rather than just whereabouts we might like to see boundaries. We've got to take into account where our future generations want to see the boundaries, if they want to see boundaries at all.
What really struck me is if you draw a graph of the Waikato population, it's suggesting we're losing people aged 20 to 40, say. But if you drew a graph of the councils, you'd probably find that there's very few people who are councillors, potentially even below the age of 60, very few below 40. And that really makes me think about the decision-making processes being made at council about the future. If we're looking at how we retain younger people in the region, are those decisions that should be made more deliberately by young people? And therefore, how do we encourage younger people into council roles so they can be there making the decisions?
So I think it's been really good. It has actually started the conversations. It's put some of the ghosts to rest. It's shown us what Auckland's up to in very clear terms and how we can move forward as a region.